Hello and welcome to another episode of Nerds Amalgamated. I'm the Professor and my co-hosts are DJ and the Devi Boy.
Oh, thank you. You got it right.
Hello, fellas.
I almost stuttered on that.
It's all good.
Too alliterative.
Debbie boy. There's too much Debbie in it. That was terrible. I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
Oh, no, anyway. Anyways, hello. If you're not left already, hello there.
Man, what a crazy week it has been.
Really, DJ? What's been crazy about it for you?
The snowstorm happening in Texas.
Yeah. Places are seeing more snow than they've seen in a decade, and places where it hasn't snowed in 50 years are getting snow. And it turns out that when it snows really badly like that, because Texas doesn't normally get snow, nothing is prepared, so now all the power's gone off and everyone is going to die.
And they blame it on your solar powers and wind farms.
Yeah, I hope they get that sorted out soon, because that's tragic.
We've lost power. So it's not the fact that we're completely cut off from the grid. It's the solar power and wind farms that are the problem. Even knowing those wind farms are designed to work in Antarctic environments. It's like, oof.
Yeah, the big issue seems to be that the Texas power companies didn't bother to weatherproof anything.
Yep.
So the solar panels are getting covered in snow, which isn't being cleaned off. Mm-hmm. The wind turbines are freezing up because they don't have a de-icing circuit.
They seriously don't? I thought they did. That's why I said that before.
Yeah, it's an option, but
they seriously don't include it. Because most wind farms usually do, in general, especially ones in Europe, of course, because, but no.
Yeah,
fair enough.
I think because it doesn't normally happen, they didn't bother installing the de-icing circuit, which I'm assuming is much like an airplane de-icer, and it'll be a heating element running through the blade.
Yeah, it makes sense.
And the natural gas lines are freezing up because natural gas naturally contains a small amount of water vapor.
Oh, no.
Ooh.
Yeah, so now nobody's getting any electricity or heat.
Fun times, eh? I like that the government came out basically like, it's not our job as the government supply you with support. You just gotta live by yourself, man.
Yeah. Which, when the major issues happened in other states, the Texas government said, no, we're not sending aid. And now they're like, aid, please.
Gotta love politicians and their ways of shooting themselves in the foot.
Yeah, politicians are great at that.
Uh-huh.
So I hope that will get sorted out soon, or that some solution is found, because if it isn't, it's going to be an absolute disaster. And, 25 people dying is still not great, but it could get so much worse. So I really hope they get sorted.
Although some people have been posting videos of their fun times in the Winter Wonderland. I recently saw an Angry Joe video about it.
Yeah, a lot of people who have never seen snow before are now getting to play in the snow.
If only we had snow in our end of town.
Yeah, I've only seen it a couple of times when I've gone up to the mountains. But
Is snow a thing? What is this icy substance? There's no such thing as snow.
It comes out of the sky and makes everything all wet.
What? You mean it's rain?
No, it's hard rain.
Like hail?
Oh.
Not quite hail.
That's just rain.
It's really slippery. If you step on it, you fall over.
So rain?
At this point, I think Debbie Boy is trolling you, Professor.
Yes, I can confirm on my trip to Norway, a bunch of Aussies seeing snow for the first time. A bunch of young adults freaking out over snow. It was bloody adorable.
What was their first question when they saw the snow for the first time? They must have went like, "Oh my god, how is this happening?"
No idea.
Wow, it took you that long to figure that out.
I don't remember what the first reaction of most of the people was. But moving on. First up tonight, we have the new Microsoft AI and Gaming Summit. By the time this episode comes out on Tuesday the 23rd, it will be starting. So I'm hoping they're going to upload it online. So all of the talks are being done in UTC -8 time, which is really inconvenient for Aussies. But so I'm hoping they'll upload it later on. I've registered because they said they'll send out articles and white papers.
Want to bet this will be one of the shortest summits they ever did?
No, it's actually... okay, yes, it is only a 2-day summit. But that's as long as the symposiums that Brigda holds in Brisbane.
Yeah, but it's an AI summit. How is AI going to communicate with other AI? 0001 that talks to 0001 and all that stuff?
What I'd do is have an AI develop an AI language so that the AIs can talk to other AIs in the most efficient way. So, this is a specifically AI and gaming summit with topics about procedural placement, generative design. They have Christoph Sauge talking about generating AI settlements, which I'm assuming are the for the villagers. Talk by someone from the Microsoft Flight Simulator team. Musical AI, which is an emerging field. Talk about, I love this title, Clippy has rejected your pull request. Game prototyping in the age of AI.
That's one heck of a title.
And human AI co-creation for games and game creators.
Ooh. I mean, that title alone, isn't that already done, though? In a sense? I mean, we had that with game creation. Wasn't there a program where again an AI could develop a game within a few days or something like that?
I don't know what you're talking about, but as far as I know, there is no game that's been entirely generated by AI. But the subject of this talk, I'm assuming based on the title, is going to be about working with the AI. So how the human can nudge the AI to create what the human wants with a massively reduced output of human labor. Because that's one of the difficult parts about making an open world game. You want to put something there, and your choices are do only a few key buildings, like in early GTA games. Do every building using procedural generation, but then 99% of buildings are going to be empty and worthless, and who's going to bother going in there? And also you run the risk of the AI not creating your vision.
Oh, by the way, Professor, that AI game was talking about was AI Dungeon.
That's something almost completely different. It's not an AI making a game. That's really just a chatbot, really. It's a heavily modified chatbot as it's... I don't know about the actual core of the software, but in interaction, it's just a heavily modified chatbot. Like talking to Cleverbot, except Cleverbot's a dungeon master. It is absolutely incredible, though. There's a section, Responsible Gaming, about building social bonds in online gaming communities and building social capital through gaming with co-workers. And then there's a section about how your players interact with the AI, including one that looks really interesting to me, machine learning for optimal matchmaking. I think the interesting part of that topic will be finding out if there's anything an AI algorithm can take advantage of to give you a better opponent, someone who's more tuned to your skill level or your ability.
There's already a game for that. It's called Dark Souls.
This is for playing against a human, because matchmaking is hard. There's algorithms for it. ELO is probably one of the most popular. But the big issue with the algorithm is that it only takes into account whatever data points you give it. So I think the advantage of an AI there would be that the AI could generate a more comprehensive study of your gaming style and then select an opponent who is better matched to that level, rather than just matching you based on your score or your ranking, any of the functional but flawed methods that are used today. So it is only a 2-day summit, but I'm really hoping it all gets uploaded.
Will there be any special guests arriving on that summit, or is it just...
Well, there's guests from all around the world. So they have Anastasia Opara from Embark Studios in Stockholm. They have Christoph Sauge from the University of Hertfordshire, which I think is a town in England. Someone from a uni in London, people from the US, Canada, and people from a couple of different companies.
Who's this? I know this is going to affect game development and mostly other facets of technology. Who do you think is going to be the biggest benefit from it all?
The game devs will benefit from being able to create a better experience using AI. So whether that's populating an interesting world, generating better missions, Skyrim has the infinite missions system.
Okay, full disclosure, I have not played
Fallout
Skyrim.
has it.
Which one?
76 probably has it as well. But it's the kind of quest you get. There's a settlement that needs your help meme. In Fallout 4, you get endless quests from Preston Garvey, who always introduces them with some variation of a settlement needs your help. And the reason is that instead of just cutting you off completely from that quest line, you just get thrown procedural quests where it generates a quest, picks a location, dumps a couple of enemies there, and tells you, go and defend this city. So that's known for being ultimately boring because you only really get a few variations on the topic, and that's it for however many hours. So technically the number of quests in Skyrim is unlimited. Practically, you're not going to want to play them anyway.
Yeah, it's the grind that gets a lot of people off anyway.
Not even the grind. Just how many times can you do, go here, fight this enemy before you get bored? There's no story to it. There's no real reward. You're not getting any special gear. So I think AI in this scenario would be able to generate more interesting plots. I'm thinking an AI that could generate a character who gives you a quest, and that character has their own backstory that's been generated, which is something more along the lines of what happens in Fortress, where everything is simulated. But bringing that into AAA game dev is really hard because it's not an easy thing to do.
No, it's never
and
easy.
Making sure it all fits consistently, that's the big hurdle with procedural generation. But I think that'll be a really interesting area to apply it to. I'm interested also to see how that then applies to the play experience. Are we going to see it transition into actually being used in the game, or is it just going to be something to fill out the area in the dev cycle? So you say you have a city, you want every building to have something in it, you just generate every building. What do you think, Devi?
What do I think? Sorry, I've been messing around. Phobics about to start, so I am going crazy with doing 3 jobs at once. Anyways, yes. What do I think? Overall, I think it's going to be okay. Like, give me a little background again.
This is the AI Summit.
Oh, yeah, that one, yeah. Like, I'm very mixed in AI, to be honest, because, like, yeah, one half, you've got to worry about it being dangerous, but the other half, like, I don't know. I really don't know what to make of it. Because in some ways, I think we're going too far. Other ways, I think we're just
Well, specifically,
fine.
This is AI in gaming, but you do raise an interesting point there. Could an AI create a game world that the player would never want to leave?
And that's something. Like, you've got the new Unreal Human thing that has get brought out, which isn't well, most of it's AI, where you can make your own digital humans from scratch. So it's like the technology is getting there where an AI probably could.
Is it ethical to create an AI created game that is so tailored to a particular person, it becomes incredibly addictive and they stop being able to live?
It's not ethical, but do you think companies will care?
Yep.
By the way, Debbie Boy, when you were saying the MetaHumans program with AI, I was thinking, imagine if Kojima takes that and uses it to make himself. It's like, I'm too stuffed to go to a press conference. I'll just make a virtual AI and just put it as a template.
Oh my god. Possibly could happen. You never know.
That sounds like it would just be the plot of a Kojima game.
But in terms of AI, I mean, it's a stepping stone when it comes to creation and stuff. I mean, like, is it going to be consequentially good or consequentially bad when it comes to game development? That's going to be the big question, wouldn't it?
I think we're at the crossroads now where you'll see games using it to pad themselves out, like the Fallout and Skyrim examples. And we're not quite at the point where we'll start seeing it used to create content indistinguishable from that created by a human, which would probably put a lot of game devs out of jobs now that I think about it.
Oh, nuts.
Yeah, so not great there, but to be honest, the computers are coming through all of our jobs. It's just a matter of when. But So I think first we'll see more games creating a system like the Skyrim procedural quests, and it'll just be sort of tacked on there. Some games will use procedural generation to a greater depth. Watch Dogs Legion has a really interesting concept. I haven't played it yet, but from what I've heard, it actually feels a bit shallow. But maybe in another dev cycle or two, maybe even if they merge that with something like the Nemesis system from Shadow of Mordor, then that would give it the depth and character to really carry it. So I think we're a bit off seeing that for now, but I'm excited for the day that we do.
The other thing we also have to wonder is, in terms of AI with the ranking system and whatnot, is this new ranking system going to be very accurate, or is it going to be very, very flimsy?
Well, they'd want it to be more accurate than the current ranking system. And the current ranking system is, in my experience, functional. There's no bells or whistles. It will most of the time give you a reasonable matchup. What it won't do is pick you an opponent tailored to your playstyle so that you get to experience different challenges.
Can you imagine this type of AI onto big games like Fortnite and other esports games? Imagine all the competitors going like, "No, this AI is so horrible, man. This thing's rigged as hell." People
complain about matchmaking as it is, so I don't think it's something you can make worse unless you fail really badly. You'd have to create something worse than ELO and the modified systems that some games use. I don't think that's going to be too easy to do. Presumably, if that happens, you'd then decide, no, we're not going to release that. But we do already have terms in gaming like ELO Hell for when you get stuck in playing against people who are either massively outside your skill base, or that you get matched with people who just aren't into the game and grow the match.
Oh, yeah, the feeders, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they are annoying. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but it's a wait-and-see approach for me. Maybe there might be some cool announcements, hopefully.
I don't think there'll be announcements at this summit. This is more about sharing what they've been working on. I think we'll probably see the interesting things coming out of this in another 3 years once the game devs have time to implement it.
Yeah.
I'd be really interested to see the next Fallout have a procedural NPC generator on the level of something like Dwarf Fortress. I know that's unlikely. I know not many people are actually going to care, but that would be just this really nice feature to have.
I mean, I would like to see more better AI in games, in terms of Wolfenstein, for example, and how the AI was dog shit.
I think you've completely missed the point. That's not the kind of AI we're talking about specifically. Most of the talks here seem to be about AI that helps generate the game for you. There is a few talks about other types of AI, but I think you've missed the point.
Fair enough.
One thing actually that I'm excited to see from AI is increased playtesting. You don't need a human to act like a human if you have a robot that will act like a human for you. And most games get more playtesting in the first 24 hours after release. Well, most AAA games, than they got through the entire dev cycle. That's why the first week the game's out, there are so many bugs discovered.
But isn't that the beta testing though, in the first 24 hours?
Beta testing happens before that.
What?
But the problem is you cannot have enough people testing for you to come even close to what your first day sales will get you. So, yeah, if you had a human that would fill out a robot that would fill out the testing ranks for you, that would be incredible. If you had AI that would fill out the multiplayer lobbies, letting you play against a bigger selection of play types, that would also be great. Particularly, I think, for a very social MMO game not really an MMO, but I'm thinking DayZ, something that would be better at emulating a human player, and which is unlikely to actually exist anytime soon, but it would give you the ability to see how people are going to respond to a particular change, since DayZ is basically entirely driven on player interactions. So, moving on, when was the last time you heard of anything good below the Antarctic?
Nothing.
Yeah, I've seen enough.
Oh, well, actually, I do remember there was a story about how they discovered a frozen mammoth trapped in ice.
Wrong continent, but okay. So you wouldn't think anything would be able to survive under the ice shelf in Antarctica because it's deep, it's dark, it's cold. There's nothing coming in or out. But some scientists drilling through the filter-on ice shelf to collect a sediment sample happened to pick the one spot that had a rock underneath it. So they kept coming back empty, because it would bounce off the rock and not collect the sediment they were after. But what they did find when they lowered a camera down was some sort of life clinging to the boulder.
Oh, crap.
Yeah. I've seen enough horror movies to know where this is going.
Now all we need to do is have this when a research team goes to the Antarctic and discovers something crazily new. Things go wrong. Introducing The Thing. Doo-doo-doo.
Yeah, we know how that movie goes. The interesting problem here is, where is it getting its energy source? There's no solar energy coming in. Most life forms that live in the deep ocean survive based on material falling from above. So something's bringing them food.
I mean, there are cells and microbes that are designed to survive in the cold, though. I mean,
yes, that's on a microbial scale, though. These are quite large creatures, including, well, some have been identified as sponges, and some are some sort of stalked creature. Now, technically, they are animals, even though they're remote. So the issue is, though, this rock is hundreds of kilometers from the edge of the ice sheet. So possibly there's a current carrying food into them. And because this is only early days, it's in the middle of nowhere, they traveled out there specifically to drill this hole to do this study, and it's really hard to drill a hole through so much ice. Nobody knows how many other rocks there could be out there with this sort of, any sort of life on it, or if there's even fish or crustaceans, or something more deadly.
imagine introducing those creatures mutating because of COVID.
They're unlikely to get COVID, because COVID affects the respiratory system of mammals.
Oh yeah, true. But mutations.
That's not how viral mutations work. I admire your aspirations to write a good sci-fi plot. That's not how it works.
Dang it.
I can't imagine how much fuel it must have taken to drill this hole either, because they drilled it using hot water.
That's a lot of kettles.
Yeah. So, what else is in there? You got any theories, DJ?
I could say it could be the land of the lost world, but
That would be pretty cool, finding some sort of dinosaur biodome. Where you find out that dinosaurs are actually advanced creatures with a science program.
and the penguins were controlling the dinosaurs from the beginning, and we didn't even realize it. That'll be some Journey to the center of the Earth level craziness right there. I don't know. I mean, it'd be interesting to see what creatures that'll be unfolded. What's going to be even more interesting is, where do they fit into the evolutionary ladder?
My theory would be that the creatures come from probably not too far back. I think they're likely either related to the sort of bacteria that live on, and creatures that live on hydrothermal vents, and are surviving off either heat energy from the event that the scientists haven't noticed, or some sort of chemical extraction from the rock, maybe. I think that's the one likely option. The other is that the creatures are closely related to existing sea sponges. I don't think they would have split off too far back, though. That's entirely my layman's hypothesis. Now, the important question is, though, do they taste good fried? Hey, we're going to fry everything else that comes out of the earth.
Come on, we're not as crazy as the Texans, okay?
Yes, Texas, the one place I've ever been that I've seen deep fried butter.
Oh wait, I thought it's now deep fried ice cream.
Deep fried ice cream is fine, delicious. Deep fried butter is weird, but it's a thing you can buy in Texas.
The other, I saw a video where someone actually deep fried water.
Yeah, I remember that.
I was like, how is that possible? There's no such way it could be possible.
Clearly they figured something out. Yeah, I don't remember exactly how they did that. Coated the water in some kind of membrane that protected it.
Here we go. You know, it's basically, those membrane waters that there was a big hype about? So yeah, they just basically put that in the deep fryer and just fried it.
Fair enough.
So weird though. But yeah, with these ones, what's going to be interesting is, like we talked about the evolution and where would they fit in. What's going to be even more interesting is, the question is, are we going to see them create new life once they're exposed to the current atmosphere?
Unlikely. They're probably hyper optimized for that particular niche, and if you ever take them out, we'll die horror.
The other thing that's going to be interesting is, I wonder how much info has those microbes have stored in terms of if there's any animal DNA in the microbes.
Well, they're not microbes, actually. They're actually animals.
Yeah. How much DNA
Probably about as much as any other sea sponge.
Yeah.
But is this where the aliens left the secret codes? If we don't decode their DNA, do we find out how? Is that why the penguins live there, to protect the alien technology?
I think we've made a story that's worthy of Kojima making a game out of.
Get him on the phone. Hopefully we won't have to go to war with the penguin to get to the data. But if this entire expedition goes missing or dies horribly, you know who to blame.
One could say this thing will be very viral. Take a good night.
Why do I even podcast with you? So next
I'm the funny one.
Next up, we have Facebook versus Australia.
Ding ding, battle of the century.
Yeah, well, I would have thought that would be Google versus Australia. So
now, Facebook wants to be Facebook or get everyone's faces.
Facebook have decided they can't
literally
just sit back and watch. They need to be there too. They're like, hey guys,
yeah,
hey, can I join in?
Can I join in, guys? This can't go terribly wrong. Oh no! So basically, in Australia, yeah, Facebook. Everyone woke up this morning on the 18th of 2nd, 2021, and discovered, oh no, you cannot share news or any articles on Facebook anymore. And this includes any news agency's actual Facebook pages were compromised. So the actual journalists and companies cannot access them anymore for at least a short amount of time. So, yeah. This happens.
Honestly,
what do you guys think about it?
Man, when I heard about that news, so many people were salty about this on Twitter.
Honestly, I don't think this is the worst thing to ever happen to Facebook. How much nicer could it be if people aren't sharing whatever news source floats their boat and causing arguments about politics?
Well, yeah, I agree with that. At the same time, also, independent news got absolutely stuffed.
Yeah, that is a side effect.
Yeah, well, there's always casualties.
Indeed. But man, is it yeah, so like, I don't know what to really feel about this, honestly. Like, yeah, I'm happy no more fake news. At the same time, yeah, journalists and stuff got really spun over in their grave, which is sort of the point of what they're trying to pull. But at the same time, it's annoying you can't share anything. Yeah. I mean, the whole debacle is basically either one doesn't want to compromise at all. So it's going nowhere.
Yeah.
Here's the crazy part about this whole fiasco. It sends a warning that big tech controls the news organizations. Wouldn't you agree?
It impacts their distribution. I'd say Google is the bigger risk here. If Google decided to stop showing news sites on their search results, I think that's the bigger risk than not being able to share it on Facebook. Because who actually knows how to type in a URL these days? Kids these days need to get off my lawn.
No one's going to search a news company through a URL or anything.
No, but if you want to find out about something, you go to Google and search for the topic.
Indeed. And that's next COVID outbreak's not going to go very well in that case.
Yeah, I've been hearing a couple of indigenous organizations are already affected by this.
Well, they've been affected since everyone was affected. They just closed the borders to the indigenous towns to keep the COVID out, because it turns out that when you don't have a Western European immune system, you get absolutely destroyed by diseases that have developed in the developed world. Because the trade between Western Europe and Asia means that everyone there has been exposed to most of the same diseases. But there was no trade minimal trade between either of those places and the native populations of Australia and America.
Yeah, that's not too good.
So a lot of people, indigenous people who get sick, get more sick because they don't have the historical basis for their immune system.
Yes.
And what's going to be sad about it is that they're trying to. Most of them would rely on the internet to get information and stuff, and with Facebook doing this stunt,
a lot of people get their news off Facebook.
Yeah.
Same for Google. You can either, if I see an article posted on Facebook, I usually go and Google the topic as well so I can find some other sources. And because a lot of the time people troll on Facebook, which is why I think this could actually be a good thing. Can't share troll sites if you can't share sites at all.
Aha, Fortune doesn't agree with that one.
True.
Fortune fights back. So, we're not technically a news site, are we?
No, fortunately.
No.
We did talk about the news, but I didn't think about that affecting us before. I don't think it will, though, because...
We're those crazy as CNN or...
So literally they want us to start buying newspapers again.
Murdoch would love it if you did that. Like, you want to be Murdoch's best mate?
More money.
Buy a few newspapers.
I have newspapers. I'll use them for my ass. That's okay.
Hey, you know the toilet paper's back in the stores now.
Ah, damn. No reason anymore, Murdoch. Sorry.
You know what's going to be funny, though? It's either Murdoch or Packer. So it's damned if you do it.
A lot of the news
don't.
agencies, and by agency I mean like Fox News, Channel 9, Channel 7, they all come under the umbrella of either Packer or Murdoch in Australia.
So who do you think will ultimately win this battle, Murdoch or Zucker?
Well, this is Facebook versus Australia, not, because the Australian government wants to put in laws based on the lobbying of the news companies to require Google to pay for sharing the news, which I'm not entirely opposed to because Google has been doing a lot of pressuring stuff to... They scrape a lot of sites and then just show the results straight on the homepage on Google, the search page. So you don't need to go to the site. If I Google a lot of things, I see the information with the source next to it, and I don't actually need to go to the source, but I still like to go there because I want to read more than shows up in the little blurb. But that's what a lot of them are complaining about because of the because it's just so bad for the small sites. They're not getting their ad revenue anymore. So I don't think Google is going to stand down on this. I think the Australian government might do it, and then Google will pull out, and the Australian government realize it's a mistake, and then say sorry.
Oh no, what's happened? What's gone wrong? Oh no, let's go.
Yeah.
What do you guys reckon, though? What do you guys reckon? Facebook is doing this stunt. Can you imagine other social media sites doing it now? I mean, like Twitter or Reddit or Tumblr.
Tumblr doesn't even exist. It's like barely there.
But how do you think other social media companies will see this, though? Do you reckon they'll see this as like a, hey, if they can do it, we can do it?
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if so I was just looking into the Epic Games versus Apple and Google thing again, and found out that Epic Games has formed a group of they call it the App Store Fairness Group or something cheesy like that. So yeah,
wow.
I wouldn't be surprised to see a few of the major social media sites forming a sort of a union to combat places that try to do this sort of thing.
Yeah, I think that sounds pretty fair what might happen. I wouldn't be surprised at all. But yeah, I mean, look, if either party not wanting to step down, at least right now, I guess we're going to play it out. But yeah, it's going to be entertaining.
Do you guys reckon this is the start of the death of the free press?
No, free press has unfortunately been less of a thing than I'd like it to be for 100 years. All of especially with people like Murdoch owning so many outlets, it's hard to find a source that isn't answering to someone else. And even then, they've still got to deal with their sponsors and their advertisers. If they start promoting something that the advertiser doesn't like, the advertiser's gone, and then how do you find...
Yeah. Although that being said, the only bright side from this entire saga was at least I didn't have to see a lot of pedestrian Facebook pages and Mamma Mia and BuzzFeed.
Yeah, that's probably going to be nice. If we could go back to when social media was about people and not the advertising, that would be nice. Never going to happen, but...
What? Oh.
Debbie Boy is just like... I like Debbie Boy's reaction.
People? Are you kidding? Oh. People? I thought we're just cheap like an advertiser too.
Yeah, I'm not going to complain if people start, if companies stop trying to advertise to me every waking moment.
Hey, would you like some pants? This is an ad for pants.
What really bugs me is that because there's no link between the advertising profile and actual purchases, I've gone on to particularly a site like Umart, I've noticed really bad for it, and a couple of other computer parts stores I buy from. I'll go on, buy a part, go and pick it up the same day. So I haven't spent any time thinking about it. I just know it's the part that I need. I then get endless advertisements for it for the next week because the advertising company doesn't know I have. I already bought it. It's like, oh, you wanted to buy this? Do you still want to buy it?
Oh,
What about now? What about now?
that's seriously? Nah, you didn't want this, man.
Yeah, unfortunately, there's no easy privacy.
But yeah, I guess we will find out. Hey,
So, yeah, I would absolutely totally be okay with paying a couple of dollars a month to use a social media site. I know most people wouldn't, but
Nah, we're too cheap.
most people are too cheap for it. I've actually been looking into self-hosting things like Mastodon to get out of the advertising ecosystem. Yeah, but haven't gotten around to it yet. But if it was easier for me to pay money, I'd probably consider it. And then I'd actually get to see what I care about. My friends.
no.
Aww.
So, do you guys have anything else to add for this?
Pretty good.
There was I was gonna say that.
Yes, fascinating.
There was a trailer that yeah, there was a interesting movie stuff that happened on during the Valentine's Day weekend. The all new Justice League that came out.
DJ, that's not what I was asking you about. I was asking if you had anything else to talk about in the news thing, but fine, go and do my job for me.
Oh, sorry.
Go and do my job
bad.
for me. Go on then.
Oh, sorry. Sorry.
So what about Justice League?
So
Why should I care?
hey, a new trailer for the Snyder Cut came out though, and it's got some new improved scenes, like a death of Superman, for example. And it's more dramatic looking than what we got the last time when it came out.
Isn't that what Snyder's known for?
But
Dramatic looking things that don't have a plot to back them up.
and making it look dark and broody, very broody.
It's like the Lego Batman of movies. Everyone knows that he's like not actually all that dark, but he's just I'm dark.
Yeah, that's what Ben Affleck is like in the Batman movies. He was like, "Tell me, do you bleed?" But yeah, with the Snyder Cut that came out during the Valentine's Day weekend, so we got a couple of additions. So like Superman dying, for example, Wonder Woman discovering
so they
new
don't
stuff.
show him dying in the original.
They don't show him dying in the original in the Joss Whedon cut.
So he just dies off screen.
Yeah. He dies in the movie before the Justice League, but they didn't really show like footage of Superman dying in the Justice League Justice
so they're
League
just throwing
movie.
in the scene from the other movie.
Yeah, but it's more dramatic
Drama.
looking. Yes. A couple of others. So as I was saying, Wonder Woman's discovery. There was also the introduction of Darkseid and the world of Apocalypse. So for those curious, Darkseid is the big bad guy, Thanos equivalent in the DC universe. There is also Steppenwolf, and his character design for this movie looks so much better than the old version.
Isn't Steppenwolf a band?
Yes, that too. Yes. So they've improved his design by making it more spikier and much more improved, like the facial
So he's
features
an
and
echidna.
whatnot. Yeah. And that being said, though, he looks more intimidating and a very brutal villain.
Okay, but he's an echidna. How can an echidna be a brutal villain?
By killing, it's not. I think it's more of the actions instead of the aesthetics.
So it's Shadow the Hedgehog.
Yep. What else is in this movie? A more expanded role for Cyborg. So in the Joss Whedon cut of Justice League, they didn't really do much of a role for Cyborg, but in the Snyder cut from the trailer that I've seen, it's more expanded and they've got more shots and more of a backstory.
So how much
for him.
longer is this cut going to be?
4 hours long.
That's a long bloody movie. Intermission?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And interestingly, they've said that there's going to be a 10-minute intermission for
Is
this
it releasing
movie.
in cinemas?
Unfortunately, no. It's going to be on HBO
okay.
Max.
Because kind of surprised they don't split it into two movies. Listen to HBO, like Warner Brothers, whoever. Don't listen to me too closely because I don't want you getting any bad ideas. But kind of surprised they haven't split it into two movies.
Well, they were originally planning it to make it a four episode mini series, but they decided, you know what, screw this, we're gonna do a long movie. But what else was there? There's also the black suit Superman, so that looks awesome. Superman in a comic accurate black suit.
What's special about the black suit?
Well, it just looks cool aesthetically. That's all I would say. But in the comic books, the black suit was originally a recovery suit, as they call it.
What's he recovering from? Is that like from his death?
Well,
okay.
Yeah. So he's recovering from his death, and yeah, in the comic books is basically Superman kills Doomsday, but then later on, he's not really dead. He's just in a coma.
Shock horror! He didn't actually kill their most popular character. Fooled me.
But the biggest surprise of it all was the introduction of Jared Leto Joker in this movie.
And we're done here. Cancel it. We don't need this.
Not a fan of Jared Leto Joker, are you?
No, I don't know anyone who is.
And in this trailer, I like how he makes the line, "We live in a society."
Oh. Why? Why are we doing this? Humanity was a mistake.
I gotta admit, though, I mean, this version of Joker looks really dark as well, though. I mean,
how can a member of the Insane Clown put dark?
Well, what was his entire line was, "We live in a society where honor is useless," or something along those lines.
Wow, so deep and meaningful.
And not to mention, like, there were a couple of pictures that came out before the trailer was dropped where you see Joker wearing like a doctor's outfit, all bloodied up and mean looking. I'm just going, wow, that looks dark. I wonder if this is going to be as dark as Heath Ledger Joker.
Yeah, then it came out and he was a total joke.
Yeah, in the Suicide Squad one, yeah. Well, that was because of studio interference mostly, but
okay, when are we getting Snyder Cut Suicide Squad?
We're getting. Oh. I don't know. Okay, if we're gonna get like a David Ayers cut of Suicide Squad, let's just wait for another few years.
Well,
for that to happen.
They've already given up on it and doing a.
It's a reboot / sequel. So yeah, but yeah, this was to make it interesting. This was the original first movie that Snyder had plans for a 4-movie deal before he bowed out because of family issues. So yeah, this would have been awesome if it came out earlier, but no. Instead, we got the Joss Whedon cut.
Yeah, not that Joss Whedon's the worst director, but
yeah,
some of it, yeah. Like if it's supposed to be dark, I don't know that he can really be dark.
I mean, his last version of Dark was Buffy. Was that dark?
Actually, haven't seen much of Buffy's.
Wait, what about Firefly and Serenity? Weren't they dark as well? Or?
Yeah, but they're still quite funny. Like they're dark, but they're not heavy dark. I know I'm not making any sense. Shut up.
Yeah.
They're dark, but not heavy dark.
Oh, and
out of context, that can be a bit spicy.
So while the trailer was dropped, the official synopsis has come out. So this version is basically in the Zack Snyder's Justice League determined to ensure Superman's ultimate sacrifice was not in vain. Bruce Wayne aligns forces with Diana Prince with plans to recruit a team of metahumans to protect the world from an approaching threat of catastrophic proportions. The task proves more difficult than Bruce imagines, as each of the recruits must face the demons of their own past to transcend that which has held them back, allowing them to come together, finally forming an unprecedented League of Heroes. Now united, Batman, Wonder Woman, Aquaman, Cyborg, and The Flash may be too late to save the planet from Steppenwolf, Desaad, and Darkseid and their dreadful intentions.
Okay, so it'll be interesting to see whether this is actually any good, because I know Justice League got a lot of hate because it's a DC superhero movie, and they made the mistake. I think they made a terrible mistake just going straight for doing their whole team-up movie without doing the proper introductions first. Like, I get that they want to compete with Marvel, but Marvel also took 5 years or something before they did the first Avengers.
Yeah. I mean, I would love to see Snyder do more movies like this. I mean, he did well with the Superman movie, so
I heard a lot of complaints about those, though.
Yeah, there have been complaints, but but criticism is always like the first step to improvement, isn't it?
It can be.
Yeah. Oh, as I was saying with the Snyder's original 5-movie arc movie deal, these were some of the events that were going to be included for this: the murder of Lois Lane, and of half the Justice League, with Darkseid taking control of the heartbroken Superman with the anti-life equation.
Okay, so killing off all your heroes—that's just Infinity War.
But I want to see this Jared Leto Joker, see how Zack Snyder puts him on the
it'll be
screen.
it'll be interesting to see whether they can actually make Jared Leto a workable character.
Because I do remember when Jared Leto spoke out about the Joker role, he said Warner Brothers screwed him over badly.
Sure, he would.
Yeah.
He wouldn't want to admit that he was bad. I mean, it's not even that he's his character doesn't necessarily have to be bad. He was also bad in real life to the co-workers.
Oh yeah. Oh, that funny you mention that, because the presents that he gave him were hilarious. Hilarious
if you're in the right context. But his whole thing was doing it to be disturbing.
Mind you, though, what was you guys heard about the presents, right? That Leto gave to his co-workers?
Yeah, absolutely.
So, I think recently there was news came out that one of the stories was actually false.
Okay.
It was Margot Robbie when she said that she got a dead rat. That was false. It was a live rat.
Cool, that makes it so much better.
Actually, wait, give me a second. Here we go. So, here we go. So, in a recent interview, Leto said, "I never gave Margot Robbie a dead rat. That's just not true." Leto reveals that he gave Robbie 30, at the age of 30, some sweet treats instead of a dead rodent. "I actually gave her a lot of. I found this place in Toronto that had great vegan cinnamon buns, and that was a very common thing." Leto recalled.
I get the point of his character is to be disturbing, but he didn't have to go out and be disturbing to his co-workers. That's where I'm drawing the line on.
So here's a question. Would you go and get HBO Max just to watch this, or no?
I'm not that into Superman.
How about you, Debbie boy?
Nah, I wouldn't pay money for it, honestly. I don't really care too much about Batman versus... I mean, it's not Batman versus Superman, but it's just the Justice League in general. The whole thing. I can't get any superhero movies anymore, regardless MCU or DC.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
Marvel or DC. So that's a little okay. I can't even say the correct words.
You know what's gonna be funny though? Imagine how many people are gonna sail the high seas for this.
Oh, what do you mean?
Like downloading of torrents and
Wouldn't
whatnot.
surprise me.
Oh, yeah, it's all right.
I wonder how many gigs would it be?
Probably not too many, since it's a streaming platform and they're known for not having great bit rates.
Can you imagine, it's 10 gigs, guys, 10 gigs for this 4-hour movie.
That would be a terrible ratio for particularly high quality stream.
Mm-hmm.
A 1080p.
Even a DVD movie is 5, and that DVDs I think are 480i maybe. I don't remember. It's been too long. But even DVD movies aren't like 4.5 gigs, and they're significantly lower quality than what from a 2021 streaming service.
Yeah. Then Blu-ray came into the picture and changed the game.
Not that I have a problem with Blu-ray, but it just seems unutilized. I hardly know anyone with Blu-ray. So moving on to our nerdful things. What have you been up to this week, Devi?
I think I've been so busy, man.
Man, he's really suffering.
I'm suffering to death. Nah, haven't done anything. I've done nothing. I'm sorry. I'll give a 5 out of 5 to my life.
I doubt you'd give it that much.
We feel you. Yep.
About a 0 out of 5. Might jump off a bridge later. Hey, that's
that
the opposite word.
Dark.
but it's not real. It's not absolutely dark. It's not too dark.
It's millennial humor. Even though
no,
I don't think he's a millennial.
Why? Boomers. I'm Gen Z. Boomer comes up why are you millennials just so? What's with your humor being so dark?
I don't know, mate. You've been outside lately.
Why? No, I haven't really done anything this week.
Fair enough. What about you, DJ?
I was planning to make a talk about XARM, but I just realized I missed viewing it, so I've been playing Ghost of Tsushima lately, and that's been fun.
Yeah, how is that? It looks very pretty.
It's pretty, and it is story-wise. I'm up to the second act, and there are so many side quests. Oh man, there's so many side quests. I can't finish them all. You go do one side quest, then you're distracted with you gotta find this find this item, and you're like, okay, I finish finding this item. Now let me do my quest. You go do another one. You're like, no, damn it, find another item, and then you find another item. You're like, stop with the items. So many items to find. They're all mythical level as well. But in terms of gameplay, it's good. The combat system looks really fluid. You don't really have to deal with any glitches or anything like that. You do a considerable amount of loot drops as well. Cool. The awesome part about the fighting system in Ghost of Tsushima is the stances you get to take when you're fighting against various opponents. Like you got the water stance, the sword stance, a stone stance, and wind stance, and
what's the point of taking different stances?
It's basically how they counteract each opponent, each type of opponent. Like you need there's one stance to deal with giants, for example, and that stance is very easily usable compared to other stances, which can defeat the brute, but it takes a lot more effort than this other stance. It's like which is a suitable gun to take down a certain monster kind of thing.
Okay. And are you patting the foxes?
Yes. Unashamedly, yes. Because they're cute and adorable.
Good man. And I have been playing Frostpunk. Frostpunk is a city survival game. The world has frozen over, and it's in steampunk England. So the world's frozen over, and you have a giant steam generator that you're using to keep your town warm while the temperature dramatically drops towards 0 degrees. Not even 0, negative 100 degrees. It's brutal. I thought I was doing pretty well. It doesn't hit you as hard, as quickly as some other city survival games I've played, but when it hits you, it hits hard. So I give it, I'm going to go 4 out of 5. The music's great, the graphics are pretty. Not a huge fan of the building designs. They're nice, but when your city starts getting a bit more crowded, it gets hard to tell which building is which.
Oh, yeah. I see what you mean.
Especially if you don't have enough heat and the buildings get covered in snow. But the snow physics are really nice for being a top-down city builder game. So when you send people out to work on a resource pile or structure, they actually leave a trail in the snow behind them. So we'll have a short break and then we'll be back with our events of interest and shout-outs. So we already did a shout-out at the horrible weather conditions in Texas, but on the 14th of February 2021, it was the 30th anniversary of Lemmings. Lemmings is an incredible game. It still holds up. It's a sort of side-scrolling puzzle game, yeah. You're given a limited number of lemmings, a limited number of job kits you can give them to make them perform different tasks, and you have a increasingly brutal series of levels to get through while trying to keep your life. And it was developed by DMA Design. Do you have any idea who they are, DJ?
No.
You might have heard of them. They're called Rockstar Games these days.
Oh, yeah? Wow, so that's who they were?
Yeah. The people behind the incredibly violent and inappropriate children GTA also happen to make Lemmings.
So they were originally dark, but they got darker.
Yeah, actually, Lemmings is darkly comical. Who doesn't like watching your lemmings drown in lava?
I
don't, because, I'm trying to win the game here. And on the 15th of February, we had the 20th anniversary of Complete Human Genome. In February 2001, Two and Science, with the first detailed look at the human genome's nearly complete sequence. This was the result of the Human Genome Project. And ever since then, the cost of sequencing DNA has gone lower. There's improved diagnosis of genetic disorders, and genomic analysis in standard clinical practice. And now you can, for less than $100, I think, get your DNA sampled. They don't sequence the entire thing, but they do sequence enough to find out what your background is, your genetic background, whether you have any of a certain standard test suite of diseases, breast cancer markers, and you can find out who your ancestors were.
Even better than Ancestry.com?
I think Ancestry might actually be partnered with one of the DNA companies. I think this is, I know there's debate about privacy and consent and all that about having your DNA sequenced and used by the companies and all of that. But I think being able to do this quickly and cheaply is an incredible benefit for humanity. Also on the 15th of February, it was the anniversary decimalization of British coinage on Decimal Day. So under the old system, there were 12 pence in a shilling and 20 shillings in a pound. Britain had been considering the change for 150 years. Wow. At the time of the change, 5 pence pennies were used. So 5 pence pieces had the same value as a shilling. Oh, so apparently they also had some confusion because new coins pence as well as the old coins. So 5 pennies in 1971 money was different to 5 pennies in old money.
Can you imagine going to a shop and you give it the old money and you go, nah, sorry, we accept new money now. You're like,
yeah, whenever the country has made a major change to their monetary system, there's been a project to get everyone transitioned over.
Reminds me of the euro when it was first introduced.
Yeah, often the old money will be accepted as legal tender for time after the change. Sometimes it's a hard change, and then you have to take your money to a bank to have it exchanged for new money. Still, decimal currency is so much easier to count. On to our remembrances. On the 15th of February 1902, Dowding. He was the Air Chief Marshal Hugh Caswell Tremenhere Dowding, 1st Baron Dowding, an officer in the Royal Air Force. He was the air officer commanding RAF Fighter Command during the Battle of Britain, and is credited with playing a crucial role in Britain's defence. The defence system was known as the Dowding system. He was also known for for his humility and great sincerity, and his pilots serving under him understood him. He cared for his men and had their best. He referred to his dear fighter boys as chicks. The alternative to Dowding's strategy was the Big Wing strategy, which was promoted by other active service officers who argued that large set-piece air battles with the Luftwaffe was a better system. Dowding was advanced to Knight Grand Cross of the Order of Bath on 8th October 1940. He died at 87 in Royal Tunbridge Wells. And for our famous birthdays, 15th of February 1797, we have Heinrich Engelhard Steinweg, anglicized as Henry Engelhard Steinway, a German-American piano maker who knows in both Germany and the US. He founded the company Steinway & Sons. In 1835, he made his first square piano, which he presented to his bride Julianne at their wedding. In 1836, he built his first grand piano in his kitchen.
And it was full of carrots and celery and a whole lot of protein.
Yeah, so after the 1840s, 1848 revolutions in Germany, Steinway moved to America, where he worked with his sons at other piano companies until they could establish their own company under the name Steinway & Sons. He was born in Wolfshagen im Harz, Brunswick-Wolfenbüttel, Holy Roman Empire, now known as Langersheim, Lower Saxony, Germany. And on the 15th of February 1909, we have Miep Gijs, possibly Gies, I'm not sure. He was one of the Dutch citizens who helped to hide Anne Frank and her family, along with 4 other Dutch Jews. So that's Anne Frank, Otto Frank, Margot Frank, Ida Frank Hollander, Fritz Pfeiffer, Herman van Pels, August van Pels, and Peter van Pels. In 1933, Gies began working for who had moved from Germany to the Netherlands to escape Nazi persecution. She became a close friend of the Frank family and then hid them in the annex above her business. When purchasing food for them, she avoided suspicion by visiting several different stores in a day, never carried more than what one bag could carry or what she could hide under her coat, and to prevent the workers from getting suspicious, she tried not to enter the hiding place during office hours. Her husband also helped obtain ration cards illegally. Before the hiding place was emptied by authorities, Gies retrieved Anne Frank's diaries and saved them. She was determined to give them back to Anne. However, at the end, Anne had died in Bergen-Belsen, and Gies gave the papers and notebooks to Otto Frank, the sole survivor of the group. Gies did not read the diaries before turning them over, and later remarked that if she had, she would have had to destroy them because the papers contained the names of all 5 of the helpers, as well as the black market suppliers. She was born in Vienna.
Aww.
Wow, that could have gone so badly.
I mean, never mind the grammatical errors, but there's just so much sensitive information I don't want to take out.
Yeah, crazy how little things like that happen. And for our event of interest, on the 15th of February 1988, premiere of Red Dwarf, the TV series. So the main part of Red Dwarf is the TV sitcom that aired between 1988 and being rebooted in 2009. The series follows, my favorite way of describing it is an idiot, his dead best friend, their cat, and a computer with Alzheimer's.
Did you guys ever have a favorite episode in that series?
There's so many great moments, but I love the original one where Death comes for Rimmer, and Rimmer's just like, stuff this, and whacks him in the nuts.
My favorite episode, this may be hotly debated, would be the backwards Earth episode.
Is that the one where Lister gets pregnant?
No, this is the one where Crichton and Rimmer go to Earth and they realize that everything is backwards.
Oh yeah.
I like how they became viral sensations known as the Ford brothers.
They spend all that time trying to get back to Earth and end up doing it quite often.
The one thing that amazed me about that episode was how they could manage to do the whole backwards barroom brawl. Oh wait, no, actually no, it's not a barroom brawl. It's a barroom tidy on Rumble.
Yeah.
that amount of no
it's
special
not really
effects.
Special effects. Most of it they filmed forwards and then just reversed it in editing.
Yeah, but the fights and the fist fights and everything, that was just awesome to look at. And I like how what was it? Just looking at everything backwards was just weird at the time.
Yeah, it does feel very weird watching it. Do you have a favorite episode, Devi Boy?
I'll be honest, never seen it.
Oh, you heathen!
I know.
Heresy detected, everybody. Heresy detected.
Yep. I know. But yeah.
All right. Well, on that absolutely horrifying bombshell, we have to wrap up for tonight. DJ, do we have any That's Not Canon shows to shout out to?
One of the shows we can shout out to is this lovely show called Real Fantasy Encounters. It's an actual podcast where escapism means having the same dumb problems as every other day of your life, but now your fate is decided by the roll of the dice. So Real Fantasy Encounters plays campaigns and one-shot adventures from all kinds of indie tabletop systems. Join us for space opera, bounty hunting adventures in Scum and Villainy, teenage superhero drama in Masks: A New Generation, and occult murder mystery in Breakfast Cult. Whether you're looking for a new game to introduce to your home group, or just looking for a fun collaborative story made and told by 4 friends, Real Fantasy Encounters can be a new AP podcast in your life.
That sounds like a lot of fun, actually. And I like that they're trying different systems. A lot of people get sucked into D&D and think that's all there is, but there's basically an infinite number of tabletop systems. So, where can they find us, DJ?
They can find us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, that'snotcanon.com. We have an archive of our old episodes, and we will be getting onto YouTube. Yeah,
so keep an eye out for that. We'll be getting that sorted very soon. So that's all we have. Look after yourself, stay hydrated, stay very warm if you're in Texas, and we'll see you next time.
Yes, indeed. Bye-bye.
See you guys.